This is an internet radio show from InRetrospectPodcast.com. They say Christmas comes but once a year. It's a time for Yuletide merriment and cheer. But one festive tradition we've unfortunately found is the in retrospect gremlin likes to venture above ground. For most of the year he resides below our feet, but at Christmas he bestows on us his own festive treats. In the past he's treated us to theft, pain and world domination. So we thought this year we'd halt this Yule abomination. We teased him and tricked him with some corny Christmas crap, and lo and behold he fell for our trap. With the gremlin locked up we foolishly thought we could have the Merry Christmas we'd long ago sought. But the gremlin, as you know, is a tricky little fellow, and he violently protested with a shriek and a bellow. "Respect me, goddammit," he called with a cry. "I'm the glue of this group and that isn't a lie. Without me you're nothing, and soon you will see just what your life would be like if it wasn't for me." As a group we looked puzzled. What did he mean? All he'd ever done was curse and demean. But then something happened we did not expect. A sudden bright light from he who we'd come to neglect. When the light dimmed we were astonished to see a 5-year-old Pete with the gremlin on his knee. Pete looked on as his younger self chatted with the gremlin and requested his help. He asked what to ask for Christmas 91. He couldn't decide between a football or a gun. He wanted Sabutio.
A gun?
He wanted
like a real gun.
I'm more surprised at the football notion. Yeah, go on, Dan.
He wanted Sabutio or a similar toy, but the gremlin said, "No, you want a Game Boy." We then saw flashes of what it would be if the gremlin hadn't given Pete that advice on his knee. Pete got his football and got his toy gun, but the rest of his life was not so much fun. His love of football took over his life. He embraced hooliganism when it was rife. He now spends his days locked behind bars for punching a policeman until he saw stars. And then after seeing Pete pay the price, we were taken back to that piece of advice. So here it was at the behest of this green thing that Pete discovered his love of gaming. Suddenly a light and young
His
Pete
love
was
of
no
gay
more.
men.
Of gaming.
All right, okay.
Suddenly a light. Suddenly a light and young Pete was no more. We were taken to a boy painting pictures on the floor. We looked at the wall at a calendar and knew the date was December 25th, 1992. A voice from behind us to the young boy called, "Kris, get in here before your dinner gets cold." 6-year-old Kris stood and walked to the hall, and the gremlin jumped out and surprised us all. He picked up the paints and brushes, and then ever so slow he replaced them with a brand new Super Nintendo. He clicked his fingers and vanished in a flash, and we were left stunned, standing aghast. So now once again we then did see, without the gremlin, just what would be. Kris would paint and become an artist, but his work was critiqued, labelled ones to be missed. Frustrated, exhausted and desperate for respect, he turned to drugs for their calming effect. But it's a slippery slope, and sadly soon we found just what Kris would do for a great British pound. And then once more we travelled, and soon we knew that the gremlin had saved Kris from our life-sniffing glue. Then just as before, a light filled the place, and we were taken to a young boy tying his lace. We looked out for signs for what was the date. Soon we discovered Christmas 98. A 12-year-old Sam rushed through the door, and the gremlin then appeared, making us jump once more. A magazine he placed on the top of Sam's desk opened at a page for a gaming contest. This was a contest Sam's brother was to win, but what would have happened if the gremlin hadn't stepped in? His brother would have won, and Sam would see how from that day forth he'd be green with envy. Sam would always believe he deserved more, but refused to try hard in spite of it all. He couldn't hold a job and couldn't pay the rent. In next to no time an eviction notice was sent. Without the gremlin, on the street he would rest, all because he didn't enter that gaming contest. We knew what was coming, and the white light appeared. It was a turn of myself which I mostly had feared. We looked again for signs just as before. From the decorations we knew it was Christmas once more. I saw a teenage me on the sofa asleep as the gremlin sneaked in without making a peep. He carefully placed on the table a box, then skipped out the room as quick as a fox. I opened my eyes, the box came into view. I opened it to find a copy of Shenmue. Flashes then appeared of my future life, a life without Shenmue that was riddled with strife. I would instead spend this time playing ball in the street, until I tripped in a pothole and broke both my feet. From this moment on, things went from bad to worse. My brittle boned feet were truly a curse. Unable to walk, unable to run, my life's completely devoid of fun. My depression caused me to push loved ones away. I sat alone all night and all day. As I sat in my sadness, I cut quite the figure, till I decided to end it all and pulled on the trigger.
What? Oh my god!
We each stood there stunned at what we had seen, at a life without the gremlin, a life that might have been. We were left with the gremlin. On his face was a smile. So I told you I was important all this while. But one last thing to show you, something you must see, why you should all be truly thankful to me. We were taken to Peter lying asleep in his bed, with the gremlin hovering just overhead. He leant in close right up to his ear and whispered something quietly, but whispered it clear. Dan Frost, Sam Turner, Kris Darby, 3 names from your past, and then finally the name, In Retrospect Podcast. And that was his story, which has taken an age to convince us to let him out of his cage. The ugly green gremlin stepped out through the door, and on his little round face a smile once more. He wished us Merry Christmas and glad tidings to all. The grumpy gremlin was having a ball. The smile on his face then turned to a sneer. Payback's a bitch and you'll get it next year.
I'm literally stunned.
I just don't know who Ming is.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Welcome, dear listener, to the glittering star atop the In Retrospect podcasting tree. My name is Daniel Frost, and it is time once again for my personal highlight of the year, the Freeplay Christmas Special. In this show, once more, we take our usual format, throw it in the oven with trays full of Yuletide goodies, and then a little while later, it's ready for your festive ears to devour. In addition to our 2 free festive-themed games, we also share presents with our Secret Santa, and we see who can demonstrate either an incredible knowledge of pointless facts or an incredible ability to guess the right answers with our Freeplay Christmas quiz. However, this nativity scene would not be complete without a few key individuals. So I am joined by Dr. Kris, the Wise Man Darby, Mr. Sam, the Shepherd Turner, and last but never least, Mr. Pete, the Virgin Mary Willington. Welcome, guys, and let me be the first to proclaim to one and all Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas indeed.
I'm actually, even after that poem, I am feeling a little bit festive. I'm sitting in my room with 2 balls hanging from my ears, a ball on each ear to distribute weight. I've got my Christmas jumper on, and so as well as my balls, my jumper, I've got some clinky. Just going to take a sip of that, and that's all you need for a good festive time.
Well, I would see your balls and raise you a Christmas hat.
Oh, are you in a Christmas hat?
I am wearing a Christmas hat right now. Yes.
Are you wearing anything else, Dan?
Wouldn't you like to know?
I see your Christmas hat and raise you 2 advent calendars.
2?
One,
Ooh.
yeah. Well, one's from my girlfriend and one came from my mother.
What kind have you got? What kind?
Well, it's really weird. They're both Cadbury's. It's really weird. The other one's the one for my girlfriend's kind of your bog standard advent calendar, which is good.
Yeah.
This one's really weird for my mother. It's the first time I've ever seen it. An advent calendar, a chocolate one, right?
Yeah.
It's entirely all the doors are in numerical order, from left to right.
No,
That's just ridiculous.
Right to me.
I've never seen that. Yeah,
half the fun was waking up like at 6 o'clock in the morning and going, I can't find 12.
It's why you close the doors each time. I don't rip them off. I'm not a monster. I always close the doors after each day, so the element of chance gets thrown into the mix each time.
I've got a mini Christmas tree with little lights on it, and that's glowing in the corner. I've got a packet of Big League Chew in front of me.
Yeah, but that's not Christmassy, is it? Unless you got it. Unless it's like a Christmas tradition.
Pete, you're getting confused. Instead of having things Christmassy, you're just looking around and pointing out what you see.
I've got a drying rack I haven't put on the kitchen sideboard.
That could be that. Actually, no, a drying rack or what's that thing that you use for drying clothes? A clothes horse.
Clothes horse.
Those could be improvised, like our times. Credit crunch. Actually, we're not in a credit. We're not in recession, are we? We are in growth. At time of recording,
we're coming out of it.
But like, if you're stuck for an idea for a tree, clothes horse, bit of tinsel, a few balls, that could be an improvisational tree, or just a drying rack. Just tilt it up, Put some tinsel out of the little cutlery holder. You could store some presents in there as long as all you're getting your loved ones is cutlery and plates. I think
there's not many songs about Christmas drying racks though, is there? Christmas clothes horse.
Not yet.
They don't sing. You don't have carol singers singing
"Rocking Around."
Christmas drying rack.
Horse.
Deck the halls with drawers of cutlery.
There you go. See, it happens.
We're already on it.
So there's not been a good Christmas song for ages. Maybe this is the injection the industry needed.
Whoa. What do you mean?
Well, there's not been like a good one. Like the last one that was released seriously was probably like The Darkness. Bell's End. Don't let the bell
Christmas
end.
Bells or something, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Not that memorable, clearly.
No. But I just remember the whole joke of it was the chorus was "Don't let the bells end," and that was their joke. They were like, "That sounds like bell end." It's a knob joke.
And look at them now.
But that was like the last serious like Christmas song. There's not been any since then.
I don't know if I would define Christmas songs as serious.
I don't know. Mariah Carey, "All She Wants for Christmas Is You." That's serious. That's commitment.
What's
Christmas? You gave me a heart. Noddy Holder was
Slade.
Is Slade.
It's Merry Christmas, everybody.
That's a staple of every Christmas, isn't it? Really.
That's serious. If just the competition between you and the family to correctly sing the shouty bit, the "I'm Christmas" in the right place.
Yeah.
Like, because what usually happens is they sing like the chorus over and over again, and just in one chorus he shouts, "It's Christmas," and always there's someone in your family who either shouts it too soon, and you're just like, "That's the wrong chorus, dude, silly grandpa."
My nan or something. Yeah. What about the Pogues? Kirsty MacColl, Fairy Tale in New York.
That's a bit of a classic. It's a bit depressing.
It says the man who gave us that poem.
Hey, that was fact. That was all truth. It happened. That would have happened had the Gremlin not stepped in.
One I quite like, actually. Me and Dan were just discussing it because my curse, listener, if you're a new listener, if you've been listening for a while, you'll know that I don't hear words in songs. So just before we came on to record, I was like, Dan, what's that Christmas song that has the chorus? Because I don't know the lyrics. I just remember that bit.
But that bit doesn't have any lyrics in it, Chris.
No.
Yeah,
that's all. Exactly.
Okay.
But that's all I've got to go on. But Dan got it straight away.
He didn't know, does he?
Dan got it straight away, didn't you, Dan? What was the song?
A Spaceman Came Travelling.
There you go, Chris de Burgh.
Wow.
There we go. So Christmas, everyone.
Well, Pete, you've poo-pooed all these. What gets you in the mood then, Christmas-wise?
Yeah, you're the famous Scrooge this time of year.
Who was the whole? Oh yeah, all right. Who was that guy who used to smack his kids about?
There we go.
He was like a crooner.
Cliff Richard. I know he's never had kids.
No.
He used to smack his kids about.
He used to smack his kids around.
I want to say Crosby.
That's not really a genre, Pete. Can you give us something more to work with?
I want to say his name's something Crosby.
Bing Crosby.
Yeah, he did some good swing numbers.
He's not known for. I've never known him just for smacking his kids.
Well, I'm gonna search this right.
He did Drummer Boy. He did White Christmas. He did
Crosby.
He did that. Frank Sinatra as well, and the Rat Pack. And the Rat Pack. They were pretty good as well. They all did like.
Finally, recognition for them. They know that you've admitted that they're quite good.
Yeah.
Pete's seal of approval.
Yeah, I recommend them.
Up and coming.
Yeah, they'll do well. That Frank will do well.
What about Home Alone? Home Alone has some ones. It has Rocking Around a Christmas Tree as well, doesn't it?
And it has that one that goes which is my. Do you know what? I'm going to go and see.
John Williams did that music.
I'm going to go and see Home Alone in a cinema just before Christmas in just a few days.
Well, maybe it's time the show is packed to the brim.
Yeah, let's count.
It's teeming.
As all the Freeplay
get on with the games.
It's bursting at the seams. I've got a parcel here that needs to be opened.
Yeah, me too.
So let's kick things off. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about our first game of the month, and our first game is Santa's Village. Santa's Village is a mobile game which can be found on the iOS App Store and Google Play. On Google Play, it has been voted 4.5 stars by over 18,000 people, whereas on the iOS Store, they're a bit more choosy. It has got 4.5 stars, but only 32 people think it's worth that. GameZebo.com say Santa's Village is short, makes for a decent game, even if not wholly original. Whereas Android.appstorm.net say Santa's Village captures the Christmas spirit and allows you to be creative at the same time. Pete, we've already established that you don't have a lot of Christmas spirit. So did this game help you get any little bit extra spirit of this festive period of your year?
I will level with you. What I did was I took Making Fun's game about Christmas, about preparing for said holiday, about creating toys for little children with the help of a team of elves, and what I did was I changed it from that into a slightly
Be blunt.
Nazi-esque
Oh no.
concentration camp simulator.
Well, I'm going to have to butt in. I'm going to have to give... I think, Pete, you can allow me to give a little bit of context, because I've seen what you've created. And we'll put
It's horrific.
We'll put a picture up on the... We'll put a picture of my village up on... Because my village is paved.
Yours is lovely.
Got
I'll
lights.
put a picture of mine as well.
Yeah, we'll put a picture of all of ours, and then at the bottom of the page, we'll just put a picture of what Pete's done. Because I was speaking to Pete about this terrible, terrible Christmas game, and he was basically said, to get the best out of it, I've had to organise my village in a certain way. And he sent me a picture of it.
Neatly.
And it was just like neat rows of workshops opposite neat rows of houses. And unfortunately, it struck an image of a very festive concentration camp.
Oh, God.
Although, I have to say, it doesn't sound too dissimilar to what I did. I mean, I don't think I probably may not be quite as regimented.
Oh, bloody Nora.
But I kind of separated my...
Is it like an Auschwitz template or
I think maybe we go into this a little... If we just actually explain what the game is, you're given a large kind of expanse of snowy area, and you have to build houses for elves, and you get one elf for every house you build, and then you also have to build workshops for the elves to work on. One elf will work in one workshop, and then you build up and build up and build up, so you can have more workshops, more elves, making more money to make more toys, and you can solve quests that way. It seems as though what Pete has done is turn that into something quite sinister. Whereas what I did, I tried to be kind of... I didn't in my mind, I didn't want the elves to be living where they worked, so I separated that area because I want them to be able to enjoy a social life. And then like half of the map was full of just factories, and it was the industrial zone, but it was also very regimented in rows. But yeah, I don't think I'm too dissimilar to what Pete's done, because that's kind of how it worked for me. And I quite like seeing the elves walking from their little social community over to work every day. Oh, no. That's what I quite like seeing that. I mean, what's wrong with that?
But Pete, was it advantageous having it in that setup?
Yeah, it meant that I could... So when you like all of these builder games, when you're given the ability to create essentially resources out of them, so these resources come in the form of toys, and when you tap on the building and you say, I want to build tin soldiers, we'll go, yeah, cool, you need to wait 10 minutes or whatever it is to create these tin soldiers. And you can, and once they're created, there'll be a small little sign that appears above the house. And so if you have them all laid out very neatly, very regimented, then it means that you can go through and perform that action of producing the toys that you want really, really quickly, and also collecting them very fast. So it's sort of like a more efficient way of playing the game. So it does work in that way. There's no specific stat bonus or anything like that, like you might get in a deeper, actual kind of building management game like a SimCity or Micropolis or something like that. But it does highlight it. I guess what it does is it highlights the fact that this is a game that has an aesthetic of Christmas, but is literally nothing about Christmas. Like, there's nothing festive or happy or to be celebrated.
It's a bit weird because you don't feel guilty for making it like that, because you have no connection to what's going on. Like when you first start up your village, you have this guy, Frosty, probably he's a snowman.
Yep.
And he like tells you what to do, as in the usual way, like here's how to buy a workshop, and why don't you use stars to get things done quicker? And then you run out of stars, and then the only way to get stars is to pay some money with IAPs and all this kind of stuff. And then Santa turns up, and he just stands outside of his house all the time, watching what's going on. And then all he does is ask you to make toys. And the problem with the game is, well, there's numerous problems with it, but the main problem with it is that it's been designed to fit in between everything else that's going on in your iPhone and your iPad or your Nexus or whatever, your Samsung. It's not actually been designed to be played constantly, because all you're ever doing is building toys which range from 30 seconds to build to 24 hours, 23 hours to build, which is probably one of the longest ones. And because the time frames are so large, that all the app really wants you to do is turn it on, get things up and running, and then turn it off again, unless you're pumping in money to complete stuff in stars. And that's it. Nothing else happens. There's a couple of games. There's a snowball throwing game, and there's a pipe game where the presents drop from the pipe and you've got to avoid the coal. And
woeful.
Which both of those games are awful. And other than that, there are no distractions, because you can only play those games once every 8 hours. Once you played them, then they have to clean the tubes, which takes 8 hours. I mean, I put a few hours into this, of course. I wanted to try and get the most out of it, see if something actually happened. But it never did. The more you play it, the more you realise you're making the same toys for the same children. Molly always wants a fire truck. Hooper...
What's she doing? What's she doing with all those fire trucks?
I do not know.
Stockpiling them.
Hooper, who runs the bag stuffing factory, he seems to have some sort of depression complex, because twice Santa asked me to check up on him, make sure he's all right, to get a little bit of XP. I was like, what's wrong with Hooper? Why don't you go over there and ask him yourself, you fat cock? Like... Santa just comes across as a lazy asshole, and
why don't you do this? And it's like, here's the thing though, Sam. Like, here's I would challenge this idea that you set up at the start of all this. You said that it fits in around all the other things that you do on the device. I challenge that, because I don't think it does, because it has this mechanic in it where
the Grumpkins. The Grumpkins
are the worst thing to happen to this game, because basically you'll spend all of this time creating these toys, and these toys can take I think some of them take 48 hours to produce, or something ridiculous like that. And that's standard for these kind of building management games. And I play these kind of games all of the time. And you look at it and you go, okay, fine. Like the risk and the reward there is, it's going to take you 48 hours to do it, which means that the building that you are using to create that resource cannot be used to create another resource. And that's the risk, that's the gamble. Like, okay, this is out of commission for 48 hours, but at the end of it, you're going to get lots and lots of XP, or lots of money, or whatever it is that you get in for whatever game that happens to be. But these Grumpkins come along, and you've got maybe, I don't know, what is it, like 10 minutes? And if you have created an item and you leave it for too long, these little purple goblin-y things come along, and they steal the items, or whatever it is. And it's like, hold on a second, like, I've worked for... Well, I haven't done anything. I've waited.
Grafted.
I've waited for 48 hours to do this, and you've taken it away in moments. And, like, it just feels like, because of that, I would say that it's not built to be based around, like, the other things that you're doing. You can't really fit it in. I found that I was getting up at specific times or checking in on it at specific times, and I had all these notifications on and my phone on loud, so that when something, had taken 9 hours to build, I was there within 5 or 10 minutes, so that these poxy little purple things didn't come along and ruin my plan and ruin, Christmas for Flossie and Timmy and whoever else it is that are asking for all these other things.
Here's a great review. Here's a great review on the App Store, right? This sits in between Scooby Kid 77, addictive and fun, and Christmas Dream by Funny, ha ha ha. Fun, I love it, 5 stars. Doodles 794, what's the point? I spent ages building my village and left toys making overnight. Went to play the game again to find out that it's all been lost and had to reset back to the start. What's the point of spending hours on it if it's going to disappear overnight?
Agreed.
I have a slightly different view. I think the Grumpkins are hands down the worst thing in the game, and they ruin a lot of enjoyment out of it. And most of my enjoyment was ruined until I realised a little trick, that if you put some toys in, you then go onto your phone or your iPad or your Android device and change the date to a day later, then go back to the game. It now gives you all your toys that you've done. And you
my God!
You can collect them absolutely fine. So you can set your clock on your device to be at the time that you need it to be, go and pick them up, and then change it back and you're fine. And you can get lots of money then. And when you've got lots of money, you can then do stuff like... I could change my elf village into a little community, and I could put a little fence around it, and I could put some paths going up to it, and I wouldn't have to worry about any money because I was just playing.
Okay, fine. So you essentially cheated the game.
I did,
right?
I did, yes.
And you produced this thin veneer of coziness and friendliness for the people around you in this game.
Yeah.
Because you had a ton of money.
Oh yeah.
Don't you feel like that kind of cheapens the experience of it being a Christmas thing? And indeed, like the in-app purchases themselves, kind of like they sort of it's almost like you can purchase the game being better, which is absolutely that's absolutely a monetization model which a lot of game companies go for. You pay extra money for this free game. So that you can make the experience even better. But to me, it doesn't sit very well in a Christmas game, because essentially you can have a better time of Christmas if you've got shed loads of money to spend on ridiculous in-app purchases, which ultimately don't give you anything.
The Christmas theme around it, I actually got something from. I did quite enjoy the fact that if you click one of the little elves, he says hello to you. I quite like that. And then because
there's a sniper in the distance somewhere who's just like, well, if you don't say hello, you're gonna get popped.
That's in your mind. In my mind, he's doing it because he likes me. But when I set people to go and make toys, I like watching the little man go from his village and toddle along to his little workshop, and then he's sitting on the bench in his own little workshop making a toy. That's really cool.
It strikes me that...
Don't get me wrong.
It strikes me
that
the kind of person... I think maybe this is a general sort of sweeping statement here, but it strikes me that the kind of person that would enjoy this kind of a game hasn't played this many of this type of game before. Like Clash of Clans, for example, fits in around your life so much better, and stuff like Farmville and some of the Tiny Co games, for example. Like they allow you to have so much more personality and change the way that you do things, and the way that your village or your town looks. And things like Motor World Car Factory, for example, which is this bizarre car making game that's also this strange 8-bit homage to the 80s. Like that has this progression, and it makes you feel so much more excited about what's going on with all of this within your allotted piece of land. But this is City Builder 101. Like, this is 5 years old ideas with a white beard on it.
It's a shame, because it's like, it is the most basic of city builders. The only thing that's got it going for it is its Christmas theme, and that's it. That is the selling point.
And that's why it's got 18,000 reviews or whatever it is, because you go onto the App Store and you search Christmas game, and I'm sure this thing is SEO to the nuts. Like, I'm sure this thing will come up every single time.
So the question I really wanted to ask was, how does this relate to other Christmas games we've played? Because this has been a common theme we've talked about when we've talked about Christmas games, that, the only thing it's got going for it is it just happens to have this Christmas aesthetic. And it's a conversation that we continue to have every year, that really there then doesn't seem to be a good Christmas game in sight.
I think for the listener of the show, the way that these shows actually kind of work, I usually choose the games, and so I took on trying to find Christmas games. And there are really not many Christmas games out there on any kind of platform. There are very few any kind of original games, and kind of very similar to this. Most Christmas games you find on in any area are generally just reskinned versions of something else. You've got your Elf Bowling or your Christmas Lemmings, or it's just Christmas versions of something else. There's very little original stuff. I think one game we're playing, our second game, is a bit more original.
I think one thing I do quite like there, just to add, is that actually every time we talk about a Christmas game, irrespective of its quality, one of us has always been able to find some kind of nice kind of message that perfectly kind of relates to Christmas, whether that be something intentional by the developers or not. Like Pete, you just talked about how the idea that these microtransactions also, and the cheating, having to cheat the game, almost kind of remind you what the spirit of Christmas is. And it's really quite nice and quite mature that we're kind of aware of what this is, and we're quite savvy enough to know that what this game is doing is kind of conflicting with that. And it kind of like when we were playing last year with the Escape the Christmas Room, how Dan kind of discovered the meaning of Christmas through the actual just the narrative of that game. The narrative of that game, even though it was a naff game.
I do love the idea that Dan discovered.
Dan didn't know what it was.
On Freeplay Christmas
It's a
Show.
wonderful life. Yeah, but the
not
fact
through
that
being visited by ghosts.
no, but like I just love the fact that we have a sense of almost what a good Christmas game should be, but yet we've got nothing to kind of compare it to in that regard, if you get what I mean, with what we've got at the moment.
The problem is, it's kind of the market. These kind of games have been kind of pushed into the freemium and the free to play, because the console sort of area has just been it's just tied up with FIFA and Call of Duty and Assassin's Creed, especially around this time of year. And it's the same in the music industry. It's, no one really releases Christmas songs anymore, because there's no point competing with X Factor or any sort of online campaigns to get other songs to number one, like protests. So they're naturally just going to get shoved to the free mobile market. And then if you're developing it, you want to get the most out of it, and you want to make you don't want to spend like 9 months developing something that people are only going to pump money into for 3 or 4 weeks. So you might as well design a game and then just reskin it.
And indeed, the most successful games really have been free, or they've been given away as part of good cheer. So, for example, Christmas Nights was given away as part of Sega Saturn magazine's front cover disc,
yep.
And Christmas Lemmings had a couple of different outings because they were on the front of Amiga format. And Costume Quest has I believe, Christmas DLC pack, but that's about as much as as the, for want of a better word, like big boy companies, like. That's as much as they kind of get involved with that stuff. Because as Sam, as you rightly say, like it hasn't got a long tail, and then by the next Christmas, everybody's kind of forgotten about it. I don't know. It seems like there is a good market for a good video game.
In our next part, we have it's a section that I think throughout the year we always get excited for, and it's our Secret Santa. For those of you who may be not familiar with it, what we do here, we have a Secret Santa. Each one of us picks at random another member of the team, and we have to buy a game for each of us, costing no more than £5. We then post them to each other, and now we're all sitting here with an envelope in front of us waiting to open. So let's kick things off. So Pete, open up your Secret Santa present.
Fantastic. Okay, so on the packaging it says "Save for Xmas Spesh," and because of that, instantly know exactly who sent it to me. So just done some Sherlock Holmes-esque deduction there. But it's,
bollocks! Yeah.
Yeah. Well. Okay. Well, there's golden tinsel inside, and it's wrapped, which has immediately reminded me of how much a terrible person I am for not wrapping mine. I've just dunked all of the gold stuff on the floor. I'll have to pick that up later. Ho ho ho, says the packaging on the outside, and it's. Get some of that in you. Get some of that audio. Oh, it's an Xbox 360. Oh, there's more tinsel inside. Fantastic. Good stuff. That'll clog the Hoover. It's an Xbox 360 game. Oh, fuck's sake.
What is it? What is it?
Excellent. Okay, so it is Truth or Lies. Someone will get caught.
Someone will get caught.
Someone will get caught. So,
Someone will get caught.
That's how you have to say it.
So, on the front cover it says, have you ever fancied someone you shouldn't? What secret have you never told your best mate?
Ooh.
Tell us your most embarrassing moment. What's the naughtiest thing you've ever done? It's produced by the it's unfathomable why they shut down, but it's produced by THQ. And fantastically, it requires a microphone, which was not included in the package. So I'm going to have to go out and buy one.
You don't have to buy one. You're using a USB microphone right now.
A USB connector and a hardware-compatible wireless or USB microphone.
There you go.
Is required to. Okay, excellent. This is going to be the. I'm going to hook up my like super quality USB microphone to my 360, and it will be the best that Truth or Lies has ever heard. I think
your Secret Santa may be looking forward to the 12th night special, where we hear you answering these truth or die questions.
To be honest, if the listener wants to know the answers to these questions, they just need to see previous episodes of Freeplay. To be honest,
that's true.
This is true. So apparently you answer over 3,000 thought-provoking questions or create your own to find out everyone's secrets. You can play with up to 8 players at once, and funnily enough, players 1 to 8. I wonder what the single player's like.
And I hope you also noticed that £5 BNIB.
It is brand new, in box, sealed. I don't know. I don't really know whether or not I should be unwrapping it, because this is clearly a classic. But no, I'm very. So thank you very much to Santa.
Whoever that might be.
Whoever that might be, and I look forward to telling a computer my secrets.
Okay, very, very good. My turn next, and I have in front of me a nice brown jiffy bag with on the back saying "Do not open till free play." Well, it's free play, so I'm going to open it.
Oh my god! I'm just reading some. While you're opening that, I'm just reading some reviews about Truth or Lies on Metacritic. Avoid Truth or Lies, says Gaming XP. As the faulty software fails to do what it's supposed to, the whole concept gets worthless. IGN, with such unstable tech, it's unclear why anyone would buy this game instead of just playing it themselves in their living room. Sans the uninteresting questions and irritating announcers.
Well, I'm positively giddy at the thought.
Don't let that put you off, Pete.
Official Xbox magazine, sure to drag your party in a depressingly non-sexy direction. You'd have an edgy evening playing Monopoly.
Do you know,
Pete, you're not bringing that to New Year's.
I might 1,000. I might 1,000 gamer score this.
It does say it's good for nabbing easy achievements.
Nice.
Okay, well,
A lie detector that doesn't detect lies. Pointless. Xbox World magazine.
Okay, I've got my envelope open now, but mine isn't wrapped, so I haven't taken it out yet. So let's have a little look. It's a PS3 box.
Oh my god!
Ooh.
Now, Dan, this is new for you, isn't it? Getting something that's been made within the last 5 years.
And not out of clay.
It's interesting that this person feels that I have enough time to play this game between now and 12th night.
Okay.
What is it, Dan?
This person has decided to bestow on me one of the longest games I think is around, as they have purchased for me The Elder Scrolls Oblivion.
Oh my word!
And somehow I've got to play these
£5.
between now and 12th night.
Now, Dan,
Yes.
technically,
You don't have to play it all.
you're incorrect, because it is possible to complete Oblivion in 4 hours, the main story.
Well, let's see then. Well, this is what I've got. It's my chance to turn the tide of darkness. With the Empire ready to crumble, the gates of Oblivion open, and demons march upon the land. You must find the last heir to the throne and unravel the sinister plot that threatens to destroy all of Tamriel. Well.
It's got Captain Picard in it.
Does it indeed?
You mean Patrick Stewart? Number one.
Yeah. Dan, you excited? Have you ever played an Elder Scrolls game?
I have played an Elder Scrolls game before.
Did you play Morrowind?
Did you finish it?
No. I didn't get very far.
But you didn't you complete Final Fantasy the other day?
No, I didn't complete Final Fantasy the other day. Final Fantasy is a game that I've played, and I have feelings towards it. Not great feelings.
Here we go. This is great. Elder Scrolls 4 The Oblivion, howlongtobeat.com. Speed run, just the main story. Fastest, 10 minutes. There you go, Dan.
10 minutes.
Easy, done.
Average, 3 hours, 39 minutes.
Yeah. It's not that long.
Okay.
Completionist average, 192 hours.
There we go. Okay, then. Well, I'm excited. It's
Still shorter than
some
Santa's
kind of
Village.
role-playing mythical adventure, and I will get into it. Thank you very much to my Secret Santa. So next up on the list is Mr. Kris Darby. So
Hey.
Dr. Kris Darby.
That's all right. Well, actually, that's written on the envelope. Actually, so thank you, Santa. It has actually been double wrapped because the previous person has wrapped it really well and finally in red and brown parcel tape, but also the Royal Mail have furnished it with a plastic transparent envelope as well, which has got a nice little cheeky survey in it. So I've got a.
You have to do the survey before you can open it.
How was it? How well was this package? I got something through from the Royal Mail the other day.
Well,
and it was almost slander against another company. That was like all it was a piece of paper that said, "This is what the Royal Mail do, and this is what TNT Mail do," and it was kind of like the Royal Mail delivers to 35 million places in the UK. The TNT. Actually, we don't have information on TNT's numbers on this, but we're sure it's a lot less than us.
We're sure they're pretty shit.
And that's what it said. It was incredible.
Blimey. This has been properly, securely kind of.
So what
I've
did
gone
you
through the first layer.
What did you have last year, Kris? Was it Mindjack last year?
Mine jock.
Mindjack.
Oh, which Sam, you played briefly when you came to stay at mine.
I did.
What did you think of
it?
Second opinion's always good.
Oh my word, it was really bad checkpointing and terrible gameplay.
I can't believe Square Enix would make a poor third-person shooter.
I know. I must have just had the only one. Okay, I've managed to get into the envelope. Fortunately, my Santa's used this envelope in a previous, so it didn't take too long to get into it. It's a PlayStation 3 game.
All right, this is good. We got some good games this year. What? Yeah, go on.
I have got, gentlemen, Ubisoft, The Prince of Persia, on the PlayStation 3.
What, the one with Nolan North in?
I believe
Is that the one where
it
you
is.
throw a woman?
That is the one where you. That is basically, Dan, where, to quote Pete, it's throwing a woman is the most deadly weapon in gaming.
Better than a chainsaw lancer.
Probably, I think, our quote of 2013, to be honest.
I don't think you've, I don't know if anybody else would agree, but I don't think you've experienced the last generation of gaming until you've thrown a woman at an enemy.
See, I really wanted to get into that, but it broke for me, so hopefully it won't break for you. We played a bit of it, didn't we, Kris? Remember when we were at Pete's?
I remember it.
We played a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, played a tiny bit. I took to it, yeah. So, yeah, thank you. Walk the path of a young warrior caught between the forces of good and evil, defy a dark god, and heal an ancient Persian kingdom of a deadly dark plague to save the world. I think this will take me less time than Elder Scrolls, but yeah, thank you very much, Santa. Yeah, shall we have a look?
Should we see how long you're...
2 minutes.
Howlongtobeat.com. I'm sure I'm doing some advertising, but it is really how I select the next game I'm going to play in my pile of shame.
Is that so?
Do you know what?
That's interesting.
it's terrible to say it, but I absolutely go on that website before I buy something, because if I buy a game and it says like, oh, it takes about 35 hours, like, and it's like a third-person shooter, I go, do I want 35 hours of third-person shooting? No, I don't think I do.
You're looking at about 12 hours. 12 hours for that. Is Truth or Lies on there? Truth or Lies.
I don't think that would count, would it, surely?
It's a 1000 G.
Main story, 1.5 hours.
It's a story?
Oh, easy. Yeah, it's about a man and whether or not he tells the truth.
Completionist.
He lies.
There we go.
How long does it take for completionist?
An hour and a half.
An hour and a half.
Yeah.
Oh, easy then.
Wow, this is a really good selection of games. We've got
one more left to reveal.
We've got one more left to reveal.
Yeah,
it possibly still could fall at the final hurdle.
It could all fall apart.
Wow. Thank you, Santa, though.
Right, so Santa's gift is currently wedged in between Vin Diesel and his wheelman and Deadly Premonition.
Good place to be wedged.
So it's a good place to be wedged.
What a sandwich.
What sandwich? It's got my name on the front and with an address. Freeplay written on the back. I will tear it open. No, it's not been wrapped. Am I the only... Well, yeah, you know this with me anyway. Am I the only one who bothered to wrap anything?
Oh,
Well, we can't really say.
I don't... Oh.
Well, no one else's was wrapped.
I think the wrapping is the packaging on the outside, isn't it?
Well, I think my Santa got lucky that the Royal Mail gave it an extra layer.
I tried to deflect it from being me by stuffing lots of confetti in there, because that's what Kris did to me one year.
Oh yeah, that was hilarious. I tell you what, my nan did that for my birthday, but because I turned 28, for some reason she filled it with little 21s.
Little 21? Because you turned 28?
Yeah, I don't know why. Maybe her iPhone has gone like a year backwards or something, I don't know. But basically, yeah, I keep bumping into 21s around my flat.
I think I'll still find some of your Kris, and I've moved like 600 years, 600 miles since I lived where those. Right. Okay. I know who's got me this. And I've just gone on to howlongtobeat.com, typed it in. Main story,
Good.
70 hours.
What?
Oh no.
Which I don't really believe. It's a colourful and engaging gaming experience on the Xbox 360.
70 hours?
Who's it by?
It's by Rare.
Okay.
Well, it requires a camera. I haven't got my camera with me, so I hope it'll still work. Oh, the disc fell out.
Which, lest we forget, I got you that camera in previous years.
Yeah, you did. You did.
That was the best one.
And a
I've ever
game
had.
for under a fiver.
Yeah, I don't know if the camera works. It's it's the sequel to the actually really quite popular Xbox title, Viva Pinata. It's Viva Pinata: Trouble in Paradise.
So
Foil Professor Pester's evil plan to ruin parties everywhere. Oh, we have to create things. Oh, is it a village creating game? Oh, there's stickers. Oh, no, it's not stickers. What's this? Oh my god, it's got like little QR readers for like doing what's it called? AR stuff. Oh. Oh. Oh my god. Okay. Pinata vision cards represent an entirely new way of interacting with Viva Pinata, Trouble in Paradise. Okay.
I think we've all done pretty well.
Have we? Have we, Dan?
That's a good haul.
Well, I think that definitely three of the games are critically acclaimed major AAA releases.
And then there's Viva Pinata.
You got Prince of Persia, even and Viva Pinata. Absolutely, it's well loved. In fact,
It is well loved.
it is well loved. And then, of course, there's Truth or Lies. I'm going to force this on you at the New Year's party. Sorry, but I am. There you go.
Well, I'm looking forward to the 12th night special where we can find out how we all get on. Do I get through 3 hours worth of gameplay? Does Sam get through 70 hours worth of gameplay? Does Kris throw a woman? And how much truth does Pete actually tell? But I think we need to leave the Secret Santa and we need to move on to our second game. Our second game for this show is Colour My Fate. Colour My Fate is a game on newgrounds.com, brought to us by the user Silver Stitch. Again, similarly to our other game this month, on Newgrounds it has 4.5 stars, although this one has more than 650,000 votes. In a world of a blank canvas, you take on the role of someone trying to decorate and bring colour back to the gaming world. But Sam, did the colourful aspects of this game brighten up your life, or were you left a little bit bland like the background?
Oh, it's a little bit bland, this game. I mean, the guy, Silver Stitch, you say his name is?
Mm-hmm.
Basically, he does iterations on the same sort of theme. He's got several games that are similar to this in both functionality and mechanics. However, this one is a Christmas-themed version of the game. You play as a stick figure in a black and white world, and basically you pick up objects, and basically you bring colour to the world by activating certain switches and stuff like that. But you can't, in this game anyway, you can't activate certain switches unless you've got the corresponding bauble. So you can't activate yellow switches until you found the yellow bauble, and so on and so on and so on. And the only way to complete the game, which is very easy, can be done in like 30-40 minutes, is to collect all the baubles and activate all of the switches. And I won't reveal what the final switch brings to this world and what you end up colouring it with. Strangely, in a way, it kind of makes you think this is a little bit what Christmas is there for. It's, you know, it's the end of the year, it's a time that can be quite grey and depressing, both in sort of meteorological terms and sort of life terms, coming to the end of the year and whatever. And Christmas does kind of bring those little bits of colour into our lives. However, with Colour My Fate, even though you are kind of bringing, you know, verve and excitement into this world, you don't have any notion of if this world is actually any bad for being black and white, or is indeed morose, or indeed you're helping anyone. So, you know, you have, there's no, the things you're doing seem to have very little impact. You don't really ever get to understand the scope of what you're doing, you don't, or the perspective from which your actions are having on the world that you're in. So it's painted as this quite grandiose and purposeful game, but really you never really get any sort of sense of the impact that you're having as your character, and it lost a lot for me, and in the end I just kind of went through the motions of the game just to see if anything actually happened, and nothing really did.
I think it would have been nicer if there had been a reason why you were doing, why you were decorating this world, other than just the game is telling you to. If there was a narrative reason for doing this, even if it was something as simple as a child at the start saying, "I've never seen Christmas," something like that. If there was a...
Well, you should make your own narrative up. I did. I was just like, he is a guy who's breaking away from the oppressions of a regime, and he's bringing... It's like when Jack Nicholson in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest breaks the window in the common room so they can all escape if they want to. That was the idea of it. You know, one person bringing colour into a world that it's black and white for whatever frustrated reason. I don't think the narrative thing is a problem. It's just the context that it was in meant that what you were actually doing, whether it was led by a narrative or not, just still seemed to have little impact.
I think it's interesting you're talking about regimes and things, because that makes quite a nice, interesting link between this game and Pete's Santa's Village, in terms of escaping. But I think actually, I agree with you, Sam. But on a little technicality, there is a kind of a narrative that is actually, it prefixes the game, but it's not something that it returns to really, apart from snippets of text and the ending, which I obviously, as you say, Sam, I won't spoil. The premise is that this person, he basically hasn't got anything to give his love for Christmas at all, which is, you know, it kind of reminds me of that game we play, One and One Story. There's a kind of a sense of innocence of love there. It's all about that kind of that relationship love. It's really quite touching. But then, to kind of echo Sam, it starts to get above itself and starts says, well, hang on, no, I haven't got anything to give this girl for Christmas. Why don't I remind everyone what the spirit of Christmas is? And it seems to not be sure whether it's staying with the social level or trying to have this big kind of impactful kind of gesture. And it does this by spreading colour throughout. In terms of, for those who listeners who've listened for a number of years, it kind of reminds me of a combination between Coma in its side-scrolling quirky nature, but also the game Take a Walk, where you've got that kind of sketchy, kind of black and white, monochromic kind of background to it. And also elements of Loved, where bits of colour kind of appear at instances. And it is a very beautiful game to look at. I love it. Stylistically, it's lovely for a very short period, but it does, you start to, as you say, Sam, go through the motions after a while. But in terms of it being a Christmas game, and I know we use the term Christmas game as a caveat, I found it quite refreshing, actually. I didn't feel I was being hit over the head with, Christmas. Although the music was repetitive, it wasn't repetitive in the kind of the mind-rotting nature of lots of Christmas games. As a Christmas game, I found it quite unique and quite innovative in the sense of its approach to Christmas. I just think it needed to get a little bit less above its station, and I should just focus on that wonderful kind of idea of just a person trying to find a gift that didn't have any monetary value, but it still had a sense of personal wealth to it. And if they just focused on that, I think it would have been a very interesting, very quite touching and moving game.
I was left with so little impression of what this game was, or what it wanted to do, or what it wanted to achieve, either mechanically or metaphorically, with its plot or its characters or any of its play devices. It was a black and white indie platformer in which you brought colour to the world. Like, come on.
You're doing it through Christmas decorations, and you're that.
Oh, but the Christmas decorations mean literally nothing in this game. Like, it's not like they have any bearing on the world whatsoever. You could replace the entire skin with something completely different, and it would be the exact same thing. It would be the exact same. Limbo did all right.
Yeah.
Take on indie platforming with puzzles and a bit of action and a bit of, ooh, is there something dark going on? Is there something a bit mysterious going on? It's just so flair. Like, it's, who cares? This again, it is another one of those. It is another one of these games where it feels inspired by something else that is of much better quality and fails to capitalise or even realise what the original brought that made it so compelling and so interesting. It's another Newgrounds take on Limbo. Or I don't know, Closure or something. Like, it's so flash, isn't it?
Would you say it was Crimbo?
I don't quite know what you mean there, Kris.
No,
proper Crimbo, like Christmas, Limbo, Crimbo. The fact I'm having to explain it suggests that this hasn't landed like I thought it would.
No, I mean, I think it's just.
I mean, you kind of covered it when you. And I'm going to quote you here when you referred to it as just being a load of flair.
Like, it doesn't know what it is, what it wants to be. It doesn't handle very well. The Metroidvania-esque platforming is so without finesse. It's, the original Super Mario Brothers has more minute movement possibilities. It has more sort of accuracy to its jumping and platforming. Its exploration is without explanation.
Oh.
It's, and its world doesn't really make any sort of a sense. I didn't understand where I was, what I was doing, why the world was laid out in the way that it was. Like, so dull, and it left no impression on me. It was like a spray of air freshener in a public bog. Like, it was just pleasant enough, but you completely forget about it as soon as you've walked out the door.
I think we made it quite clear that, our opinions of the game, it's not really gonna change. But as Dan was saying at the start, 600,000 reviews. I'm just looking at them now. Everyone was just saying it's so pretty. Oh my OMG, I love this game. Great game. Beautiful, very artistic game. I always love these heartwarming games. This was no exception. This is the best game in the series I've played in a long time. Thanks for making this. I've beaten this game 10 times. So who's in, 600,000 people can't be wrong, right?
They absolutely can. These are people who are registered to leave comments on a Flash games portal, like just because. But
if that was of no value, then why make the game in the first place?
Of course, it's got some value. It's just that the people playing those games probably aren't enjoying the kind of games that I enjoy generally. Like a Flash games portal, they are built to be quick, cheap, easy to understand, very surface level, superficial experiences by and large. Like you've played, you've wandered around Newgrounds, like you see exactly what's going on there. Like the really good games are so few and far between on Flash Portal websites, and the users of those things, they aren't out for like a super intricate AAA experience. They're not up for a really well polished iOS title or something like that. And obviously, I'm being very dismissive. Like, there's a lot of crap on console, there's a lot of crap on mobile, but Flash it's the I'm bored at work kind of game. It's the I may as well do this because I'd rather not do this kind of game. It's not exciting, it's not visually challenging, it doesn't have to be any of those things, it just has to be good enough.
But I would take this kind of game 10 times over any kind of Santa's Village kind of title.
Oh yeah.
I mean, there is some nice. I mean, I'm not down on this game. I like this game.
You say there's nothing on there at the moment. I'm playing a game on Newgrounds called iCycle, where a naked man is riding a bicycle over the glaciers of the North Pole.
It's absolutely fantastic. It is absolutely fantastic iCycle, and it's now found its home on mobile, where it will make a whole bunch of money for the person who's made it. Yeah, absolutely. But those games are few and far between, like very far, and few and far.
Why
between.
didn't we play this one, Dan?
Because it involves a naked man riding a bike over glaciers, and last year we played Santa
What's wrong with that?
riding a bike over glaciers.
Yeah, but this guy's naked.
Yeah.
And to some people, that's not a positive aspect.
I don't know. Like, it's really, really dismissive of me to say, most stuff on Flash Portals is naff. But I think it is telling that the companies that did really, really great work on Flash always graduated to a different system. And I use the word graduated because the Behemoth found some success in Alien Hominid. They made that thing into a full game and then released it on PlayStation 2, GameCube, Xbox, and that's where it found a home, and that's where they got the opportunity to go on and do stuff like Castle Crashers, and obviously that's where they found their success.
Well, listener, you can make up your own opinion as well and take our because I think there's a little bit of a division in the group in terms of opinions. I quite liked it. I agree with what Pete said, but I'm not as vitriolic in my views of it. There's some nice touching moments. I think there's little phrases such as "colour is precious" and "opens up your mind." That could be read as being quite pretentious. That Pete's little guffaw there indicates. But that's something that it was evocative for me of the artist Kandinsky and his way he kind of talks of colour almost as being a language in itself. And so, yeah, to kind of chime with Sam, you can kind of construe your own narrative from it if you want. But I think, in terms of pure visuals as well, I think it is a quite nice treat to unwrap this Christmas online for free.
Okay, next up we have, I think, our favourite part of the Freeplay show, which is our favourite part of the year, and that is the Freeplay Christmas Quiz.
Oh, Christmas quiz, oh, Christmas quiz, it's time for the Freeplay Christmas quiz.
That's a very imaginative title. I like how you've picked the name of the show, you've picked the name of the show, and you've picked what we're doing on the show. Mm-hmm. And put them together.
Yeah. You wait till you see some of my round titles. They get just as original.
It's what we call in the audio business the Ron Silapredge. that was brilliant, man. Mm.
Okay, so we're going to kick things off. We have 5 rounds altogether. That's right, 5 rounds. we have a round all about Christmas games. We have a round all about Christmas charts. We have a round all about free play. We have a music round, and then to round things off, we have the ever popular lightning round. So we're going to start off with Christmas games.
Let's play a game. A Christmas game.
Brilliant. Right. I mean, if you okay.
Okay, so the way it's going to go, the order we're going to go in. Pete, I'm going to come to you first. Then I'm going to come to Sam, and then Chris, I'm going to finish off with you. Okay. So question number 1 to you, Pete.
Yeah.
Pete, which of these is a real game? Is it A, Jazz Jackrabbit Holiday Hare? Is it B, Earthworm Jim Christmas Chaos? Or is it C, Bubsy Festive Fun?
The last one should be a Christmas game.
It should be, shouldn't it?
Bubsy.
Well, I would say that the likelihood of it being a Bubsy game is incredibly small, because they wouldn't have made a Christmas game a fully fledged boxed retail release. So, and those games only ever appeared on consoles, so I'm going to cross that one straight out. Now, there was Jazz Jackrabbit and Earthworm Jim, and again, Earthworm Jim was a console-based game, so that probably wouldn't have happened. It's less likely. So Jazz Jackrabbit came out on PCs and was at least distributed as freeware, shareware, because of what Epic Games got up to at the time. So I think it's Jazz Jackrabbit.
Okay. Sam, I'm coming over to you. Sam,
Yes.
in Chicken Invaders 2 Christmas Edition,
Oh my god.
the eggs from the original are replaced by Christmas baubles. But what are the drumsticks replaced by? Is it A, candy canes? Is it B, holly leaves? Or is it C, Christmas presents?
Alright, so Christmas... Yeah, so this is like the Christmas edition of normal Chicken Invaders, yeah?
Indeed.
So instead of eggs, they're baubles.
There are eggs and drumsticks.
Okay. What do the eggs and drumsticks do?
They fall. They fall from the sky.
Okay. Christmas free play. Always get the harder questions. So what are the choices again? Instead of drumsticks, there are...
Instead of drumsticks, was it A, candy canes, B, holly leaves, or C, Christmas presents?
Well, I'm going to take the point that game designers are lazy, so therefore it's easier to design something that looks similar to the previous design, aka baubles to eggs, so I'll go candy canes instead of drumsticks.
Okay, thank you for that. And now, Chris, to you. Amiga title Santa's Xmas Caper is a game where Christmas elves have drugged Santa's pudding, leaving him drunk. But which of these was not a character in the game? Is it E, Hangover? Is it B, Alka-Seltzer? Or is it C, Jelly for Afters?
So which of those characters does not exist in the game?
Yes.
Alka-Seltzer.
Is it A, Hangover? Is it B, Alka-Seltzer? Or is it C, Jelly for Afters?
I think Alka-Seltzer is actually a brand name, so I might go with Alka-Seltzer.
Yeah, but it might be written like Al. Seltzer.
So Santa's been drugged. What's a good hangover cure for Santa? He's either going to have Alka-Seltzer, he's going to eat jelly. That's really stupid. Or hangover cure, jelly, or Alka-Seltzer. Do you know what? I'm going to have to stick with Alka-Seltzer, aren't I? Because if it wasn't Alka-Seltzer, I'd really be angry with myself. So I'm going to say Alka-Seltzer.
Okay. So that's the end of the first round on Christmas games. Next up, we have the round on Christmas charts.
Christmas charts!
Okay, so our next round is on Christmas charts. And Pete, I'm going to come right back to you. Your question. In Christmas week 2012, which of these games sold more globally? Is it A, New Super Mario Bros. 2 on 3DS? Is it B, FIFA 13 on PS3? Or is it C, Connected Ventures on Xbox 360? So in this, I'm looking for the title on the platform which sold more globally. So, for example, I'll be looking at which sold more globally. FIFA 13 just on PS3, not FIFA 13 overall.
Well, I think what you've done is you've tried to throw me and make me think, using logic, that Connected Ventures wouldn't have sold that well because it's the Connect. And I think, Dan, you misunderestimate me. I believe it will be Connect Adventures.
Okay. Thank you for that. Sam?
Yes.
Which of these games sold more in the UK in the Christmas week 2011?
Okay.
Is it A, Just Dance 3 on the Wii? Is it B, Mario Kart 7 on 3DS? Or is it C, Connected Ventures on Xbox 360?
Didn't you just mention Connected Ventures?
Yes.
But that was the year after.
It's in this question as well, Sam.
Yeah, but if Pete's assured that it's 2012, then it's not going to be 2011, is it?
You're assuming that Pete is correct. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't.
Well, maybe he always is. So what was the question again?
Which of these games sold more in the UK in Christmas week 2011? Is it A, Just Dance 3 on the Wii? Is it B, Mario Kart 7 on 3DS? Or is it C, Connected Ventures on Xbox 360?
Now, Connected Ventures was like an original Connect launch title, wasn't it? So, unlike the Connect wasn't out until... Like, Connect was out like 2-3 years ago, so I think Connected Ventures was even older than Pete's. I think it was out even before this Christmas holiday period, so I don't think it's Connected Ventures at all. Like, I know that Mario Kart 7 came out in 2012 because I reviewed it. Very good it was. What was the other one? Just Dance 3 on the Wii.
Just Dance 3 on the Wii.
Mario Kart 7.
Okay. And finally, to you, Kris.
Hello.
Which of these titles was the biggest global seller in the Christmas week 2010? Is it A, Call of Duty Black Ops on PS3? Is it B, Wii Sports Resort on Wii? Or is it C, Connected Ventures on Xbox 360?
I'm gonna go. What device was Call of Duty Black Ops on?
PS3.
I'm gonna go with Call of Duty Black Ops on PS3. I've not played any of those games.
Okay. Okay, and that brings us to the end of our round 2 on Christmas charts. Next up is our free play round.
Who's been free playing attention?
Okay, so that's right. I'm here to find out who's been free playing attention. And Pete, I'm right back to you.
Yeah.
This year, we found out that Kris has previously worked as a removal man. But when we offered his services to our listener, what was the moniker we gave him?
What was the moniker that we gave him?
By moniker, do you mean like...
The title we gave him.
But that's not title.
The name. What's the name that we gave him?
All right. Okay.
Think back to when I helped you move house. Look, picture me there carrying a box. What name would you give that picture?
Slave.
Well, I would call you something like I don't know, like Carry Hands Chris Darby, or
That's what you call me.
or I'd say Chris, Dr. Chris Devilishly Handsome Darby for doing this moving thing. I would say that, I don't know, this is the worst question.
It is the worst question ever.
I've really been turned on this one.
You have been turned.
I don't know. Let's go with Chris Safe Hands Derby. Let's go with that.
Okay.
I did smash a kid's piggyback on my last move there, so just so you know.
Well,
Okay, so next question to you, Sam.
Hello.
This year, Pete exclaimed that he wanted to punch Winnie the Pooh. Please give one of the 3 reasons Pete gave for wanting to do this.
Oh, so I don't have to get all 3 this year?
No, you only need to
Right, okay.
3 up points.
He wanted to punch Winnie the Pooh. What was this in reference to?
I have no idea.
Context. I've
You don't need to know the context. You should know. You should have been paying attention. Should have been free paying attention.
Yeah. We've all got the hilarious joke that you've written.
I think it was because Pete was just fired up for the episode, and he said that.
Chris, stop helping people.
Yeah, but I just want to... I can't...
It's not really a help. It's just
I've listened to every single episode of Freeplay, and I never mentioned his...
The context of the show that Pete said he was so pumped up for an episode that he could punch a bear. So
okay. Yeah, we were talking about punching bears, weren't we?
that old chestnut.
So what was one of the 3 reasons Pete gave for wanting to punch Winnie the Pooh?
That he hung around with a small child.
Is that what you were going for?
No, I retract that.
And it just dawned on Pete in that episode. Hang on.
No, that he kept all the honey for himself.
Okay. Is that your answer?
Yes.
Okay. And now, Chris, to you.
Hello.
This year, we discussed films we had seen as youngsters, with you explaining how you took your dad to see Mr. Nanny starring Hulk Hogan.
Does Chris have to guess what he himself said?
But at the age of 11, what film was I sneaked into the cinema to see?
Oh. The age of 11, you sneaked into a film. Oh, why do I think it's Mrs. Doubtfire? Oh, just go with that. Mrs. Doubtfire. I think it's Mrs. Doubtfire, Dan. It was either Independence Day or Mrs. Doubtfire. I don't know why it's those 2 films, but I'm going to go with Mrs. Doubtfire.
Okay, and that brings us to the close of our 3rd round on Free Play. Next up is the music round. This round I like to call...
The Round of Music.
Again, you've taken what the round is, and yeah.
It's genius. I love it. More, please.
Okay, so first up we have Pete, and this is your music.
What the hell is this?
Oh. This was like one of my favourite games this year. Oh no! Was it this year or last year?
Okay, Pete, what was that game?
Are these free play games, or could this be any game?
These are free. These are free.
All right, okay.
Games. Yeah, this is. Oh no!
I know what this is. Do I get a bonus point if I can get it?
No.
Oh.
This is called something like Frog Pants Adventures, or oh no! This was a really, really good odd game, and I could tell you all sorts about it. This is the game where you end up selling bootleg pornography as a frog who takes over.
Well, what was the game called, Pete, that you're thinking of?
Frog Fractions.
Frog Fractions.
Frog Fractions is the name of the game that I'm going to go with.
Okay. Sam, this is your music.
Right. Can I just say that how many free plays have we had this year? 7 or something like that. I have not appeared. I've only appeared on like 3 plays this year.
What's the name of the game, Sam?
Can I listen to it again?
You certainly can. Here we go.
sounds fantastic.
I know.
Right. I'm going to take a guess.
Audio clue.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to take that audio clue. I'm going to say Back to Bed.
Okay.
An episode I wasn't in attendance for, but I actually really enjoyed that podcast.
Finally, Kris, this is your music.
Oh my God!
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Kris, name that game.
How can I forget? Beardy Balls. That was the episode which we had the lovely Adamski,
Oh yeah.
gamer, talking about children's games, and that was Puzzle Pirates.
Okay. The next round is the lightning round. But before we do that, I'm just going to go over the questions so far so we get scores going into the final round.
Oh, just the pressure's on. Fantastic.
Exactly. So I like to get everybody on an even kill so we know exactly where everybody stands.
Okay, so how much is Kris winning by? Go on.
In the first round was Christmas games. And I came to you first, Pete, and I asked you which of these is a real game. The options were Jazz Jackrabbit, Holiday Hare, Earthworm Jim, Christmas Chaos, or Bubsy Festive Fun. After lots of toing and froing, you decided to choose Jazz Jackrabbit Holiday Hare, and you were correct. It was indeed Jazz Jackrabbit Holiday Hare.
Yeah.
Sam, your question was, in Chicken Invaders 2 Christmas Edition, the eggs from the original are replaced by Christmas baubles. But what are the drumsticks replaced by? Was it A?
So specific.
Was it A, candy canes?
Yeah.
Was it B, holly leaves? Or was it C, Christmas presents? You decided that it would be candy canes.
Makes sense.
Unfortunately, the answer was actually holly leaves.
Of course, I'm
I've
wrong.
gone with candy canes.
Well, Sam, there's a turn up.
Well, this is very unusual.
And Kris,
Hello.
your question was, Amiga title Santa's Xmas Caper is a game where the Christmas elves have drugged Santa's pudding, leaving him drunk. But which of these was not a character in the game? Was it A, Hangover, B, Alka-Seltzer, or C, Jelly for Afters? You thought it was Alka-Seltzer. Unfortunately, he was a character in the game. The correct answer was Hangover.
Sorry, Sam.
What are you apologising for? You got one wrong.
No, but you suggested you gave me the right advice. And
Well, it wouldn't be unusual for me to be able to guess the correct answers to other people's questions.
I do think we should have the round of which of these games should be a Christmas game.
So after the first round, Pete is leading 1-0. Then we had round 2 on Christmas charts. Pete, your first question was, in Christmas week 2012, which of these games sold more globally? New Super Mario Bros. 2 on 3DS, FIFA 13 on PS3, or Kinect Adventures on Xbox 360. Now, you were pretty pleased with yourself. You thought you'd spotted a little something that I tried to trick you. And you said it was Kinect Adventures on Xbox 360. You were wrong. The correct answer was New Super Mario Bros. 2 on 3DS.
Wow, blow me down.
No.
Sam, your question was, which of these games sold more in the UK in the Christmas week 2011? Was it A, Just Dance 3 on the Wii, B, Mario Kart 7 on 3DS, or C, Kinect Adventures on Xbox 360? You thought it was Mario Kart 7 on 3DS, and unfortunately you were wrong. The correct answer was Just Dance 3 on the Wii.
But I was right about Kinect Adventures, so let's not ignore that.
On the back of that, but no point.
Moral victory then.
Yeah.
Chris, your question was, which of these titles was the biggest global seller in the Christmas week 2010? Was it A, Call of Duty Black Ops on PS3? Was it B, Wii Sports Resort on Wii? Or was it C, Kinect Adventures on Xbox 360?
You're obsessed with Kinect Adventures.
You thought it was Call of Duty Black Ops on PS3. And as Sam has just said, the correct answer was Kinect Adventures on Xbox 360.
Did rubbish on that, gentlemen.
Okay, so after the second round...
Well, you know the podcast to come to if you want bad gaming knowledge.
After the second round, the scores are still 1-0-0. Pete, you're still in the lead.
Brilliant.
Next up, we have the Freeplay round. Pete, your question was, this year we found out that Kris has previously worked as a removal man, but when we offered his services to our listeners, what was the moniker we gave him? After going through Carry Hands Kris Darby, you decided to settle on Kris Safe Hands Darby.
Yeah.
The correct answer was the Removal Doctor.
The Removal Doctor.
That was the name that we gave him. So unfortunately, that is incorrect.
He also does verrucas, ulcers, warts.
Sam, your question was, this year Pete exclaimed that he wanted to punch Winnie the Pooh.
Okay, yes.
Please give one of the 3 reasons Pete gave for wanting to do this. The 3 reasons Pete gave were rubbish name, he's not real, and I'm going to give you this because the third answer was for the honey, for the honey.
Yes! 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 I got something right! Something right!
So I will give you the point for that one. Kris, your question was, this year we discussed films we had seen as youngsters, with you explaining how you took your dad to see Mr. Nanny starring Hulk Hogan. But at the age of 11, what film was I sneaked into the cinema to see? You said that film was Mrs. Doubtfire. And it was indeed
Oh my word!
Jeez. After round 3, it is 1-1-1.
What's that in binary, Dan?
Which brings us to the music round. Pete, this was your music. You said that game was Frog Fractions.
Yeah.
And you were correct. It was indeed Frog Fractions. Well done. You finally been able to remember the name of the game. That stumped you last year.
Yeah.
Sam, this was your music. You said it was Back to Bed.
I
You
did.
hadn't been in that show, but you felt it was Back to Bed.
Mm-hmm.
You were correct. It was
Yes.
Nice one, Sunrise.
Thank you.
indeed. And now finally, Kris, this was your music. You thought it was Puzzle Pirates with your good friend Beardy Balls.
I think you find he was
You were
my
correct,
friend.
It was indeed Puzzle Pirates. So after the 4th round, we are all neck
Oh
and
my
neck.
word, it's all to play for.
All to play for indeed. Which brings us on to the lightning round.
The lightning round.
You've kept that from last year. That's good.
I've actually redone it this year.
Oh,
You just
HD.
the same thing.
Dan, you're brilliant.
This is the lightning round. In this round, I will read out statements from games we have played on Freeplay this year. In slightly different to last year, you have 90 seconds to guess them, but you only can guess once. If you guess and you get it wrong, you are out of that particular round. But of course, we need some buzzers. So these are the ones we have in store for you. Kris, this is your buzzer.
God bless us. Everyone.
Oh.
That's nice.
Sam, this is your buzzer.
Come in and know me better, man.
What does he say? Come in and what me better, man?
Know me better, man.
Oh right, okay. Oh god, it's not Ming, is it?
And finally, Pete, here is your buzzer.
Oh.
Okay, so are we all ready?
We are.
My finger is placed over the button to start the timer, and the timer starts now. I am playing a Facebook game. It is my responsibility to...
Come in and know me better, man.
Yes, Sam.
Dragon City.
Correct.
Nice.
I am playing a mobile game. I am currently ranked 13th.
Come in and know me better, man.
Yes, Sam.
1800.
Correct. I am playing a flash game. The whole narrative is given in verse.
God bless us. Everyone.
Yes, Kris.
Relive your life.
Correct. I am playing a downloadable game. The world of the games is...
Come in and know me better, man.
Yes, Sam.
Lord of the Rings Online.
Correct.
Nice one.
I am playing a flash game. This game involves various gaming genres such as shoot-em-ups, text adventures, platformers.
There goes Mr. Humbug.
Yes, Peter.
Fractions.
Correct. I'm playing a downloadable game on the Steam platform.
Come in and know me better, man.
Yes, Sam.
Ministry of War?
That's incorrect.
There goes Mr. Humbug.
Yes, Peter.
Puzzle Pirates.
Correct. I am playing a downloadable game. The aim of the game is to collect 8 items.
God bless us, everyone.
Yes, Chris.
Slender.
Correct. I am playing a browser-based game. I can choose one of 4 different time periods to play in. I have to...
God bless us, everyone.
Yes, Chris.
Ministry of War.
Correct. I am playing a browser-based game. The game is a puzzle game. The game involves you taking control of the subconscious...
Come in and know me better, man.
Yes, Sam.
Atom?
That's incorrect. The game design...
It's Christmas!
That's the sign of the end. I've started, so I will finish this one. The game involves you taking control of the subconscious of a narcoleptic man. The game's design is inspired by the work...
There goes Mr. Humbug.
Yes, Peter.
Go to bed.
God bless us, everyone.
Back to bed.
Oh,
That is correct.
Chris, I hate you.
Wow.
I hate you.
Well, no. What a turn up for the books, that is. Before this round, we were all even. It was 2-2-2. In the lightning round, Pete, you scored a further 2 points, bringing your total to 4.
Excellent.
Sam,
Yeah.
Oh,
you scored us an extra 3 points, bringing your total to 5.
Not again.
So, Chris, you needed 3 to equal or 4 to take the title again.
I am sick of this.
Chris, you scored 4 points.
No!
That you're running. Play Christmas quiz champion. Congratulations. How do you think?
I thought I'd got 3 points. I didn't realise I'd got 4.
The fourth one came with back to bed right at the end.
Okay.
If you thought that one, it would have been a tie, and I don't really know what I would have done.
It would have been a 3-way tie if Pete had got that. And what was even funnier is I'd mentioned the title earlier on in the quiz.
No, that's the only reason I remembered it. Because I wasn't there for that episode. I hadn't played the game, so...
So for our third year running, Chris, you are the champion. You are on one heck of a roll. And Sam, you are still waiting for your first victory.
At least I wasn't last.
How do you feel, Sam? Come so close.
Hey, I was the first loser, so I'm the first loser, so I'm fine.
So that means I've got to go and...
Well, no, technically Pete's the first loser because you got to the tiebreaker in the first show.
No, I'm
He
the
didn't
first
get that.
loser because I came second.
Yeah, you came second here.
So I'm the first loser.
Yeah. What he's doing is pointing the direction of shame, of loss, away from him and more towards my pathetic attempt. I'm upset by this entire thing.
Does that mean that I have to go and host the 12th night special?
Yeah, it's basically you just host the 12th night show from now.
Right, okay. So, let's just do a roll call. I'm playing Prince of Persia. Dan, what game are you bringing to the table?
Elder Scrolls Oblivion. Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion.
Sam, what game are you bringing?
Viva Pinata : Trouble in Paradise.
Lovely. And what critically acclaimed game are you bringing, Pete?
Truth or Lies? Also, I like the idea of : Trouble in Paradise.
Yeah, there's : Trouble in Paradise.
Okay, so we have... I'd like to say we have a new champion, but we have the same champion we've had for the 3 years. And what a champion you are, Christopher. You are now in charge of hosting our next show, the 12th night show next month, where we all come back with all of our Secret Santa games and have a little discussion. But I think that's all the time we have. I think for not just this show, but for this year. Unfortunately, it's time for now the plates to be cleared, for us to retire, digest all we have devoured, and it's time for you, the listener, to join in with a little festive spirit. If you've enjoyed this Christmas show or any of the shows from In Retrospect, please head over to iTunes to exclaim your feelings through the form of a review and a little cheeky 5-star rating. It's the only Christmas present we ask for, and it won't cost you a penny. As well as iTunes, there are a multitude of places you can interact with us. You can talk to us on our website, inretrospectpodcast.com, on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/inretweetspect. You can see our shows on youtube.com/inretrospectpodcast. And finally, you can subscribe to us on stitcher.com. We are everywhere at once, just like Santa on Christmas Eve. Next week, to round up the year, we have a very, very special show looking at the very best bits of 2013. So please make sure you check that out. We'll be back in 2014 with our 12th night special, where we find out how everyone has enjoyed their Christmas games. But until then, it's a goodbye from Kris.
Goodbye.
It's a goodbye from Sam.
Ta-ra.
It's a goodbye from Pete.
So long.
And finally, it's a goodbye from me. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Goodbye.
So I'm not going to wrap anything up next year.
No, I think.
See what everyone else does then.